A new Idaho law set to take effect July 1st will ban camping in public spaces or in your vehicle. A woman who was formerly unhoused, spending 9 months living in her car, says that there's a difference between camping and surviving. And as Aspen Schumpert learned, that woman is trying to stop this law from going into effect.
My little USB fan was my lifeline in the summertime.
Back in 2019, this was Cassidy Landry's home.
I ended up getting into a really bad, very toxic relationship that kind of was a domino effect of me losing my job and then losing my housing, not being able to pay.
She went on to live in her car for 9 months.
When you're having to maintain survival of things that like you normally would do in your home, and you're doing it out in public is such a degrading, and it's embarrassing, and it's so shameful.
She says she tried to stay at the local shelters in Boise.
But it was such a new and overwhelming, scary, degrading almost experience for me. After that one night sleeping there and sleeping in that cot that wasn't mine with a blanket that, 100 other women had used, I had to get up at 5 in the morning, and then I was on my own for the rest of the day. And so from that experience, after that first day, I was thinking like, you know what, I think I'm gonna try to just live in my car.
She says her car became her sanctuary.
You don't have a lot of control when you are living, when you are homeless. And being in my car, I was able to stay with my things. It was the only piece of thing that was mine.
You wouldn't consider what you were doing as camping?
No, I was surviving.
Now housed, she's fighting to stop Idaho's public camping ban from taking effect July 1st with a petition.
There's such a stigma around homelessness, and I wanted to voice that, I wasn't any of those stigmas that you're putting. I wasn't, trashy, I wasn't loud, I wasn't making a scene.
The new law prevents people from unauthorized sitting or laying for a prolonged amount of time and sleeping in vehicles.
If this law was in effect while you were living in your car, what would you have done?
I don't know. I have no idea. And I almost don't even want to think about it because it's that scary.
There were a few spots around Boise Landry says she'd regularly park. Today, she took us back to one of those spots. For the first time in 6 years, in the same car she once slept in.
And there's my car.
Which one?
That one. There we go. And I'm really fortunate for my daily main parking space during the day that I was never bothered there. So it's just one of those spots where it's like I'll always remember and I'll always appreciate.
Pulling back in the parking lot, Landry says, brings up a lot of different emotions.
I don't know, it's weird. It's like, oh man, it gives me just this weird feeling of, I've done this before. It's weird being back here. So of course back then it was like a little different. This is now just my vehicle, and never have I ever slept in my vehicle since.
She hopes sharing her story will help Idaho lawmakers understand the unhoused community a little more.
And it's sad to know that now somebody else that's just like me right now in their car with babies trying to work on their situation is not going to be as lucky as me.
Landry says she wasn't aware a law like this was being talked about by Idaho lawmakers, ending with it getting signed into law by the governor, which is a big part of why she is speaking out now, since she did not share her story with lawmakers this past session. Her hope is the governor will stop this from going into law in just a few weeks. We reached out to the bill sponsors of this bill, Representative Bruce Skog and Senator Cody Galloway. Didn't hear back from Galloway, but Skog said he wasn't aware of the petition. So it looks like they're not aware this petition is going around. Again, it's just been about 2 days that this has been live. Has a few hundred signatures as of now.
It's an interesting situation. You can see the human element of, you can understand why lawmakers went down this path, but you could also see the impact on people that didn't even know it existed. And you asked in the story, where would you be, if you didn't have this, and if this law was in effect? It's possible that she could have gone to jail or something, which would have put her on a very different path.
Very much so.
Okay, Aspen Schumpert reporting. We'll see what comes from this. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back here on the 208.